Hello! My name is Bisa, and let's talk about forums. Now, I have a feeling that despite the techie focus of this channel, there's a good chance that there's a decent amount of people watching that don't really know about forums. So let's get everyone up to speed with a rapid-fire history lesson. Forums are the backbone of internet culture, even predating the internet itself with BBSs, or bulletin board systems that ran over telephone modems. As the internet grew in popularity in the 90s and 2000s, so did the concept of forums. Persistent, open, text-based platforms for people to congregate and converse with one another. From early general internet hotspots like Something Awful, over forum derivative platforms like 4chan or later Reddit, to more focused communities like in the case of Pokémon, Bulba Garden, Cerebi, Poké Community, or my personal namesake, the Bisa board. The internet quickly became host to a vast amount of forums like these, each with their own communities and resulting culture. However, there were some aspects that were consistent across all of them, and would leave their own mark on wider internet culture, one of which became especially ubiquitous as server bandwidth and internet speeds rose, and people started sharing their creative outputs and building thorough online identities in the mid to late 2000s. The signature. A short block of text that would be dynamically appended and updated under every post a user made. Once these became popular, people quickly started using the few lines of text and somewhere around 100 pixels worth of image height they were given to embed nowadays highly characteristic banners into their signatures. From personal calling cards with links to personal blogs or websites, to banners advertising your gaming clan and many more, signatures then were what your social media bio is today. A way to give your presence on the internet an identity and, if you want it to be, a way to infuse it with creativity and self-expression. Another common trend were forum games, usually played over medium to long periods of time via a central thread and direct messages from players to a game master. Especially social deduction games like Mafia and various variations thereof were some of the most popular. But what happens when you combine these two hallmarks of forum culture and combine them into one, and throw Pokémon into the mix? This is Virtuadopt, a collectible browser game that launched in 2009 and has been going ever since, including a close encounter with death in 2021, followed by a relaunch of the game. Virtuadopt is best described as a social collectible game. It's not the only one of its kind, but it's the first one with Pokémon, so it's what we're talking about today. When you first start the game, you start off with empty pockets and a small loan of $5,000. To start, you have to ask Professor Birch for some eggs, which will be stored in the local Pokémon Center's PC box, from where you can walk with your eggs or feed your Pokémon, rendered in adorable custom artwork for every single one once you've hatched some. This is where the social part comes in. You can only feed each of your adoptables once every day. However, you can also get a link that can be shared or embedded with an image of the adoptable in personal websites using HTML or on forums using BB code. This means you can not only easily show off your collection, people can also click on your adoptables from wherever you shared them and help with raising them, which quickly made it an exceptionally popular practice to share your most prized adoptables by placing them in your signatures on your favorite forums. I would love to show you this, but sadly the tenor around forums changed a lot to be much more mature as social media sites started to replace them, with many nowadays having rules disallowing signatures that impact thread readability. However, that's not all Virtuadopt has to offer. While this clicking and collecting is the core, quote-unquote, gameplay loop, and the social aspect is meant to be the primary pull to the game, there are many other ways to do this than to just get eggs, hatch them, and then click on any adoptables you may find in the wild. For every time you click on an adoptable, you are tipped a small amount of money, which you can spend on evolutionary stones or held items that replace alternate ways of evolution from the games, such as Golbat evolving into Crobat at a high level while holding a Soothe Bell. Classic ROM hack quality of life stuff. There's also a game corner that features a handful of minigames that award virtue coins, which can be used to buy rare adoptables at the price counter. The main thing you will be doing here, however, is participating in the click exchange, Virtuadopt's internal way to help users raise each other's adoptables that isn't limited to only allowing each user to click each adoptable only once a day. In the click exchange, you will be asked to solve a CAPTCHA to avoid automation, and then you can click away to your heart's content until your CAPTCHA verification runs out. For each click, you are granted the same money tip you get from feeding adoptables the normal way, as well as 1 credit that you can assign to your own adoptables to allow them to show up in the exchange. The real collectible pull behind Virtuadopt, beyond just completing your Pokédex, however, lies in promo adoptables. At all times, there are also some time-limited adoptables available that you can only acquire through special means, which are usually legendary Pokémon or Pokémon with special custom artwork, sometimes also available in shiny variations, adding an extra excitement to the hunt for promos. Yes, you can technically shiny hunt in Virtuadopt, and you'd be surprised by how many of its remaining users do it. The method of acquisition can vary wildly between promos. Legendaries are available through the slot machine that appears during all clicks, while the Keeper Pokémon are only available through the click exchange, and the Starry Pokémon are only available through regular feeding. Some special seasonal events guarantee you some promo adoptables after a certain number of clicks, while the price counter rotates in new ones for seasonal or site-related events, and in some rare recursions, the minigame is available in the game corner may also offer a chance for promos when you win. The most common ways of acquisition are, however, the raffle and monthly eggs. In the raffle, you can spend your hard-earned money on tickets for a chance at one of a set of rotating promo adoptables every 6 hours. Along with normal eggs, you can also adopt 1 monthly egg every 3 hours. These differ from normal eggs in that they don't hatch after a certain number of steps, but rather that they level up when fed, like normal adoptables. Then, at the end of the month, they all hatch at once, and the higher an egg's level is, the higher the chance is to retrieve a shiny adoptable from it. Now, I could keep going for a lot longer, tell you all about how there is a daycare for breeding and hatching adoptables if you have the money for it, or the GTS for trading them, which even comes with its own set of exclusive promos to encourage users to trade with one another. However, I think I've given you enough of an overview. Even if this video hasn't convinced you to actively play the game, especially with such a large part of its social structure gone, I would still encourage any Pokémon fan that has some sort of online identity to check it out. If nothing else, it's a super comfy community that offers some of the best part of the internet that we've left behind. Thank you all so much for watching. This was something very different from the usual dev diaries I do on the channel, but also something I want to do a lot more often. So if you liked the video, doing just that would be highly appreciated so I can know what you want to see more of. If you're here for the development of Pokémon Corundum, be sure to check out the stream that will be going live shortly after this video does, and is also linked down in the description if it's already over. If you want to support this channel even further, click the join button below to find out how, and a special thanks to the channel's early supporters Splack, TD Advocate, and Mordred Pendragon. My name's been Bisa, and have a good one.